Hi everyone, I'm Parul. Welcome to my channel. Today we will learn about simple future tense. Now when I say future, what does it mean? Future means anything after now. For example, 10 minutes from now or 10 years from now, all of that is future. Okay, so let's understand it in a better way. I have already told you all that for every tense we have a separate rule. The rule of simple future tense is subject plus will shall plus first form of the verb. So we already know that for every tense we have a different rule. So for simple future tense, this is the rule, and we have to remember two words. One is will and shall, and we always use first form of the verb with these two verbs. We have three ways to talk about future depending upon the situation or what we are trying to communicate. So let's see what are those three ways. First is by using will or shall. Second is going to. Going to is not a verb, it's a phrase, but yes, it can also be used to talk about future. And the third one is present continuous. So you must be surprised after knowing that present continuous can also be used when we have to talk about future, because till now what we have understood that present continuous is used to describe the actions which are happening right now, but it can be used for future tense. This is a new thing, so we are going to discuss that as well. But in today's video I'll tell about will or shall, and about going to and present continuous I'm going to cover it in my next video. Here on the board I have mentioned some examples of positive, negative and interrogative, so that we will have an idea how to frame these kind of sentences by using simple future tense. So let's go through them. On the top I have mentioned the rule, which is subject plus will shall plus first form of the verb. Now let's go through these examples one by one. Okay, first is the doctor will call you. It's a positive sentence in simple future tense. How to change it into negative? The doctor will not call you. So by adding just not after will, you can make a negative sentence in this tense. The doctor will not call you. Now interrogative, we have done it earlier also. Whenever we have to make interrogative sentences, what we have to do is we have to swap the position of subject and verb which is there on the second position. So same thing we are going to do over here. Will the doctor call you? So this is your interrogative. Now next is I shall leave now. Negative, I shall not leave now. Shall I leave now? He will buy you a car. Negative, he won't buy you a car. Will he buy you a car? Now these all are positive questions. You can make negative questions also. How? Will he buy you a car? Will he not buy you a car? Or if you want to use a contracted form, then won't he buy you a car? Max will meet me tomorrow. Max will not meet me tomorrow. Will Max meet me tomorrow? Will Max not meet me tomorrow? Or won't Max meet me tomorrow? I shall invite him. I shall not invite him. Shall I invite him? Now if you have to change it into a negative interrogative, then shall I not invite him or shan't I invite him? So the contracted form of shall not is shan't. Now next is I shall be there for you. I shan't be there for you. Shall I be there for you? Shall I not be there for you? Shan't I be there for you? So contracted form of shall not is shan't, but I would say that do not use it because we do not use it generally. Okay, so it's better that you use shall not or don't make a negative sentence. Now we have understood how to frame different kind of sentences, positive, negative and interrogative, in simple future tense. But when to use them, that is important now. So now we'll talk about when to use will and shall. So first let's start with will. We use will when we are having a formal situation, okay, when we are having formal conversation. For example, XYZ company will commence a new project next year. So here we are talking about a company and organization, so it's a formal sentence, that's why we have used will. The ceremony will start at 8 o'clock. So it can be an official ceremony or an award ceremony or a business ceremony. So that's why again this is a formal sentence, that's why we have used will. Whenever you are in a formal situation, maybe if you are in office or you're conducting a business meeting or writing a formal email, so always try to frame a sentence with will when you're talking about the future. Now there are some other situations also where we use will. So let's go through them one by one. So first is planned. Whenever there is a planned situation, for example, the doctor will see you at 4 o'clock. That means that you have already spoken with the doctor, you have taken an appointment with him, and this is planned now. So that's why you will use will over here. I give you one more example. Max will meet me tomorrow. That means that I have talked to Max and we have planned it that we will meet tomorrow. So here also we will use Max will meet me tomorrow. So we will use will. Next is prediction. So whenever you predict about something, you use will. For example, experts say food prices will rise. So this is a prediction. So that's why we have used will. I give you one more example. You join a company and you say that you know that it is a very good company. Okay, so you say that I will stay in this company until I retire. So this is again a kind of a prediction you are doing. I give you one more example. You buy a wool sweater and your mom says that this is pure wool. If you wash it with hot water, it will shrink. So again, she is predicting that if it is wool, pure wool, then do not wash it with hot water, otherwise it will shrink. So all these kind of sentences wherein we predict, we should use will. Next situation is ordering. Okay, whenever you order something, for example, you go to a restaurant and you order, I will have a pizza with Coke. Okay, or I will have dal rice. So whenever there's an order, you can use will. Next is unplanned, when there's something which is unplanned. For example, I will give you a ride to the station. Now I tell you the situation, you step out of the office and suddenly it starts pouring and you have a car but your friend doesn't. So you say that I'll give you a ride to the station. Okay, so this is something which is unplanned. I give you one more example. You are in your office and sitting with your client. Suddenly one of your colleagues comes and asks you something and you say that I'm busy right now, please don't mind, I'll talk to you in a while. So again, this is something which is unplanned. So in these situations you can use will. Next is offering. So whenever you offer your help, you can use will. For example, I will show you the way. Don't worry, come, I will show you the way. I will help you with your project. I will tell you how to solve this problem. I will give you a lift to the hotel. So in all these situations, you can use will. Next is promising. So whenever you promise something, you will use will, like I will visit you next week. Right now I don't have time, but I promise you that I will visit you next week. I will buy you a necklace. So the last one is commands or order or request. So whenever you frame these kind of sentences, you will make them in interrogative forms, as you can see it here. For example, will you stop picking your nose? Will you stop picking your nose? It is irritating. Okay, so this is a command. Next is, will you be quiet? I am studying right now. Third one is, will you bring some water please? I am thirsty. Will you bring some water please? Okay, so whenever you have commands or orders or request, you can use will. The next is shall, where we can use shall. So now we'll learn about it. Shall is again used to describe future actions. When we are talking about future, we can use shall. Okay, it is completely your choice whether you want to use shall or not, because will is 100% acceptable. You can use it freely, because there are some places where shall is not used at all. For example, in US they do not use shall, or hardly they use this word. They generally use will. Okay, however, in British English, shall is used. Just give you a background about shall. In old times, shall was used to replace will. It was used as an alternative to will. But in modern English, when we have to make negative or positive sentences, we generally use will. We can make interrogative sentences also with will, but we use shall to make interrogative sentences using I and we pronoun when we want to emphasize on something. Okay, so now we will see how we can use shall. We use shall for offers using I and we. How? Shall I make some lunch? Shall I water your plants? Shall we help you with your work? You remember, we in offering, whenever we want to offer help, we use will also. Okay, how? I will help you with your work. I will help you with your project. So here also in offers we can use shall, but in interrogative form. It is always better to use it like this. Okay, next is making suggestions. So we use shall while making suggestions. For example, shall we leave now? It's a suggestion. Next is, shall we have something to eat? Shall I invite him to the party? So suggestion or advice, whenever you are seeking a suggestion or advice, you can use shall. Okay. Here you can see that I have used I and we only. Okay, and again I have framed these sentences in interrogative. It's not that you cannot use shall in a positive sentence or a negative sentence. Definitely you can use, but it is better to use it in this way if you are a new English learner. Okay, just understand it first and read some more sentences. Try to frame some sentences on your own. Once you have a good understanding about shall, then you can definitely use it in other ways. Next situation is to make promise. Whenever you have to make promise, we can use shall. How? I shall never forget the help you gave me. So it's a promise. Next is, we shall do everything to solve your problem. This birthday, I shall buy you a car. So whenever you want to frame these kind of sentences, you can use shall. We have seen that for making promises, we can use will also. For example, I will buy you a car on your birthday. I will help you. Okay, so these kind of sentences, it is completely your choice whether you want to use will or shall. Both are acceptable. Here you can see that I have used shall with I and we only, but I have not made these sentences in interrogative. They are positive sentences. You can use shall in a positive sentence. You don't have to make an interrogative sentence. The last situation is obligation. Obligation means an act to which a person is morally or legally bound, a duty, a commitment. Okay, so whenever we have this kind of situation, we can use shall. How? Let's see. First is, applicant shall provide their documents by tomorrow. The tenants shall pay the rent on the first day of every month. The management shall not be responsible for damage to personal property. If you can see, these all are obligations. Okay, so when you want to frame these kind of sentences, you can use shall just to emphasize on something. Okay, and one more thing, that here it is applicant, okay, which can be he or she, third person. Okay, then tenants, this is again third person. The management, third person. So here we can use it with third person also when we are talking about obligations. Okay, otherwise in other situation it is better to use shall with I and we. By now, I hope you all must have understood about shall and will, how to use them, where to use them, and I have one suggestion for you all. Try to make some more sentences on your own. Think of different situations and practice them. Thank you for watching my videos. If you find them helpful, please like and share with your friends. Feel free to leave comments. Do subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon to receive a notification for the new videos. Thank you, take care and have a great day.